you know who made it.
Welcome to the See Me, Be Me podcast, Marilyn. How are you today?
I'm really good, and I'm really glad that we've managed to get this underway. Really looking forward to this podcast.
Yeah, no, we thank you for coming on. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about you, your background, and, what are you up to today?
Oh, well, that's a very tall order now, but we'll probably start from the beginning, because See Me, Be Me is really all about inspiring young people to consider careers in science, tech, engineering and maths. And what got me on the road to a career, initially studying chemistry, was at the age of 4, I remember watching a Disappearing Worlds documentary about an African tribe whose way of life had been threatened by industrialization. And I decided then at the age of 4 that I was going to become a scientist and come up with a solution to solve their problems. And I think that's the thing about careers in science, tech and engineering, is that it's about solving people's problems. So at the age of 4, I'd already decided I was going to be a problem solver and I was going to do science for good. So with that in mind, I then set off and I did very well at school, went to grammar school, then went on to study chemistry at university. So I followed a very traditional path. I was I was the only Black person in my class at Birmingham University studying chemistry. And when I finished my course, I then decided I wanted to do a radio and TV journalism postgraduate course, because the area of chemistry I really liked, which was physical chemistry, where physics meets chemistry, there weren't many jobs in that area when I was at university and I was leaving. And I thought, I don't want to work in organic chemistry, which is petroleum and plastics. I was never particularly interested in that. So anyway, I went off to the University of Central Lancashire, studied a radio and TV journalism course, and then got a job with the BBC straight out of it as a journalist and programme maker, which is what I did for the next 17 years or so. And then retrained to become a leadership coach, and somewhere along the line gave birth to you two, which was one of the proudest moments of my life. And then fast forward to where we are now, and I'm now heading up a brand new net zero innovation and industrialization centre called the Manchester Innovation Activities Hub, which will also provide electrification skills training, especially for electric vehicles, but battery technologies as well. So that's a whistle-stop tour for people that provide some context to who I am and why I'm here.
So take me back to a young Marilyn. What was she like? What did she have, dreams of becoming at a very early age? And, for me and for our listeners, I'd be keen to know, who was your role model growing up?
I think really what I was driven by, I didn't really have any role models at that time who looked like me. So that whole See Me, Be Me concept didn't exist. So in many ways, I think I was a trailblazer. I looked around and I used to watch programs like Tomorrow's World, which was always about new technological developments. So in many ways, I was a bit of a geek, and I really enjoyed learning. But I think one of the issues for me was that I was bullied at school in my last year in junior school, because I did so well and I passed my 11 plus. And for the last 6 months of school, at junior school in Manchester, that was really, really quite tough, because I was really being bullied by other Black kids. And so going to grammar school and being able to shine and be the best me was so liberating. I loved grammar school, and then I loved going on to university. And I think for a while I learned that, which I think a lot of young people of colour might relate to, that it's sometimes not cool to be a geek.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, you sometimes don't let your light shine and you hide it under a bushel. But I think that the kind of programs that you guys are running in the Blair Project, the online physics clubs that you're running, provide young people of colour with the opportunity to meet other young people that are like themselves, to enjoy being geeks, to have fun with it. Because for me, science and technology and engineering are fun. I love tinkering and trying something new. And it's not about getting the right answers. When you get something wrong, you are still learning. And what you're learning is to get it right next time. And the important thing is not to give up, is to keep playing around, having fun, adapting, tweaking something, and making things work. But in the process, you learn so much about yourself in terms of what you're good at, what your likes are, that enable you to then think about a career. What potential career would I like?
I was thinking, Marilyn, in terms of obviously your background from school and university, where does your passion for chemistry come from?
I don't know. You know, I was having a conversation with somebody. I feel in many ways I may have been born with a passion for chemistry. I remember watching a documentary with George Michael where he talked about something called the red thread, and that he traced back to when he was very young and found that there was this thread that ran throughout his life that brought him to the success that he had and attracted the people that came into his life to help him to get to where he wanted to get to. So at the age of 4, I don't know what it was that made me really decide it was chemistry as opposed to physics, but all I know that the motivation was really about wanting to make a difference in the world, wanting to help this tribe in Africa whose way of life had been threatened, and wanting to make the world a better place. And for me, that was science. Science was an enabler that would help me to be the difference in the world.
Yeah, I mean, with yourself, you've had a very diverse career. I mean, you obviously been through University of Birmingham, studying chemistry, to working in the BBC, setting up your own businesses, and now the founder of the Manchester Innovations Activities Hub. So I guess the question I wanted to ask is, what is the most important lesson that you've learned over your career in terms of the challenges that you faced?
I will tell you that I think that growing up as a child, I used to love Greek mythology. Stories like Jason and the Argonauts really, really appeal to me. And the thing that people don't realize about stories is that they are what are known as archetypes. They are telling you something about the human condition. So Jason is really, it's called the call of the hero, and we can all be heroes. Yeah. We have to choose to be a hero. And the hero is asked to go on this journey. And this journey means that you're going to have to confront your personal demons, overcome them, in order that you can be transformed as a person, and then get the golden fleece, and Jason becomes the king. So Jason was a young man who was born a king, had his throne stolen away from him, and he had to go and reclaim it. So that's really the basis of the story. So each and every one of us is born a king, a prince, but we have to reclaim our greatness. And in order to do that, we each have to go on a journey where we have to face our greatest fears, but not face them on our own, you know, we have our tribe, don't we? Niall and Blair, and we have a great network of people who supported us on our journey and the development of the Blair Project. But without that tribe, without those people who support you, who back you up, who you know you can always rely on, it would be an impossible journey. You guys know that my other great, the other film that I really love is Lord of the Rings. And it comes to a point in that story where you think it's hopeless. They will never defeat Saruman or Sauron. And they do. Something changes, a little miracle happens, and then they are victorious, because you know what? It is written in the stars. All of our destinies are written, but it is about whether or not we have the courage to go on that hero's journey and face our worst fears. And for most people, their worst fears are about having no money. You will know that when you set up a business, and the kind of business that you guys decided you wanted to set up, which was at the ages of 18 and 16, deciding that you wanted to make motorsport more affordable, inclusive, sustainable, and affordable, and help other young people to get to the highest echelons, which was Formula One. And as you know, at the time, people thought we were mad, and were telling us to stop being ridiculous. But 7 years later, we were proved right when Formula One approached us saying, we would love to partner with you. And as a result, we helped them to recruit two Black mechanical engineering apprentices. And the rest, as they say, is history. And we've gone from strength to strength. But you both know that we had plenty of highs and lows along that journey. But if you keep holding on, if you keep believing, if you keep being resilient, if you keep being determined, having that purpose in mind that you set out for, nothing on earth can defeat you. And that's the important thing to know.
No. So for any of the young people listening, or even their parents as well, if they were quite interested in getting involved with within the fields of net zero, you know, is it just a passion and an attitude and a willingness to learn, or do you think there's more that they have to demonstrate in order to get involved? Because these industries and these technologies are just so new.
Yeah, I think it's just having a curiosity. If you like doing things with your hands, whether that you like cooking at home, I don't see it as anything different, but it's just that willingness to try, test out something new, use your hands. I would hope our Mia Centre opens in the summer. So anyone living in Manchester, come on down to the Mia Centre. You can email info@themiacentre.com, Mia spelled MIAH, centre.com. Email us, come on down. We'd love to show you around, and we're planning to have evening classes for young people where you can try out 3D printers, mini robots, build remote controlled hydrogen vehicles, just so that you can overcome any fears or apprehensions that you might have, that you have to be brain of Britain. No, you don't. You just have to have curiosity, that willingness to try something new, work collaboratively with other people, and make sure it's fun, because I think we all do our best learning when it's fun. And I'll be there to guide in the way that I've guided Niall and Blair. So I would like to help and support more Niall and Blair. So come on down, meet with me and the rest of the team, and we'll help you to get started on that journey and find very well paid opportunities, either to work within the sector, become an innovator yourself, or an entrepreneur like Niall and Blair.
Blair, have you got a question or?
Yeah, what I was about to ask, Marilyn, what are your ambitions for the future? Let's say in the next 5 years.
That's a very good one, Blair. I think ideally for me, I would like to find a replacement CEO for the MIA Centre. So I would like to, I'm already thinking about succession planning so that I can step back from the business and perhaps be a strategic advisor, non-executive director, spend a bit more time in the Caribbean, become an investor and invest in Black businesses, Black and Asian businesses, or other startups, help them to succeed and grow. And I think ultimately the other thing on my bucket list is to spend more time traveling the world. I'd like to visit every corner of the globe I possibly can, which includes the Arctic and Antarctic.
Wow. You'd like to go to the Arctic?
Yeah, just to say I've been during the summer, not during the winter, because during the summer, you know, it's 24 hours of daylight and you can, you know what, tramp across the Arctic and it's quite green and there are bits that are icy. But I'd just like to see, we live on one of the most beautiful planets in the solar system, and I'd like to see as much of it as possible.
Marilyn, going back to, you know, MIA and everything that you've achieved, you know, it's the first set of names that you mentioned on the podcast, but how you got to that stage is that you wrote a feasibility study in regards to, you know, a centre like MIA being built within the Manchester City region, that small to medium-sized companies could come in and tinker with some of these new and emerging technologies to prototype new products in regards to net zero. And you were awarded £4 million from central government for that. And, you know, people will be able to see on the screen now that you've got an OBE. You know, what would you say are some of your proudest achievements in, you know, being on this earth? What are some of your proudest achievements that you've been able to achieve?
I would say number one would be having 3 wonderful sons, yourselves and Amarin included. You know, that's my proudest achievement, because each of you is contributing to make the world a better place. So it's almost like a nuclear fission reaction that started with the parents, but then, you know, you 3, and I'm sure your children are each going to have, when you do have them, are each going to play a part. I think the other one is getting an OBE for services to women's enterprise. And that was mainly because of the work I was doing around exporting into countries in Eastern Europe and East Africa, and going out there on my own and carving out a niche for myself, as well as the business mentoring I was doing to develop female entrepreneurs. And I think that probably...
And just to say that you met the Queen as well as a result of that.
Yeah, I've met the Queen several times, been to Buckingham Palace several times. So that was a great achievement. Obviously getting the funding for MIA, but I think for me, the most recent one was supporting you guys with the bid writing to get the funding for the Innovation Accelerator. And going forward, it will be about the... you know that we're going to do a 10 million equity raise next year. Now that would be awesome, because the data suggests that as Black entrepreneurs, it should be a mission impossible. Only 0.25% of Black entrepreneurs get venture capital funding. We're looking to break that mold, so people can keep tuned next year and see whether we've been able to crack that very hard nut. But that's the next challenge that we're going. And you know, if we get it, that would be a remarkable achievement, because that would be achieving against the odds, and that's what we like, don't we?
Yeah, or there's no you got to go through a struggle, don't you? So there's no better feeling than overcoming a massive obstacle. So that's what I feel like you've taught us, really, that no matter how hard things no matter how hard the barrier is, there's always a way around the problems. Like just the whole problem solving dynamic of just getting around different challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would echo that. You know, the top three values that you taught us is to be persistent, be resilient, and be determined. So regardless of anything that happens, you know, just know that, you know, if you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. And I especially say one of the things that you educated me on is, you know, not being too concerned or worried about failure, and that, you know what, you only learn through the hard times and going through failure. You know, sometimes you don't learn from your successes because you just take it for granted. But, you know, when you failed, you're like, right, you know, you look back and, you know, you do that reflective thinking and you think, right, this is where I messed up. This is where it went wrong. And, you know that you won't do that next time. I think that's one of the things that, you know, you always taught me, that sticks with me and resonates with me to this day.
But I think the foundations of all of this is family for us. I think the foundations of success has been about being a tight-knit family. We're there for each other. We work as a unit, a shared purpose, a shared goal. We have a great team of people that work within the Blair Project, and hopefully they see it as a family as well, that we're providing opportunities for them to earn a good living, to grow and develop with the company as it expands. But yeah, I can't underestimate how important family is as a foundation for anyone's success, because it's the thing that, you know, you can fall back on when the going gets tough.
Well, to add to that point, the current stat is about 85% of businesses in the UK are family run. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, what Marilyn just spoke about, you know, the bond, and, you know, you're all in it together. So yeah, that just proves why, you know, family businesses do work. You've all got each other's back, and you're all supportive, and you all share the same common goal of where you want to get to. And what would you say to any young person listening on this call who is interested in a career in STEM, but would like to go down the route and follow your journey as being an entrepreneur? You know, what advice would you give them? Or what do you know, even better, what advice would you give to a young Marilyn?
I would just say, you know what, the Blair Project's online physics clubs are a perfect opportunity to engage with other young people who are just like you, living in different parts of the country. You know, they're regular weekly physics clubs. You can get involved in a whole load of different projects. So that's what I would do, so that you've got a channel in order to direct your interest in, explore new things, find out about new careers that you probably didn't even know anything about. Bring your parents along, because I think parents have a big role to play. So you can also educate your parents as to the kind of careers that are out there that are STEM related. And then, you know, what the Blair Project now offers with the MIA is that schools to employment pipeline. So you start on this STEM journey, but we can help to develop you and move you into a career. So it's not just an activity for activity's sake, but also we can expose you to novel opportunities like Formula One, and they're having a big early careers day at Biggin Hill, their headquarters, that we can invite you along to. And it can really expand your mind as to the possibilities. I think one of the things that I notice is that young people, especially if they come from disadvantaged areas, they don't travel much outside of their community. And it is so vital that you do go, stretch yourself, go outside of your comfort zone and visit places that you would never get the opportunity to do, because it does expand your mind. It does expand your awareness of what is possible. And it almost like impregnates you with ambition and aspiration, because you think, I would love to live in a house like that, or I would like to be that astronaut, or be an engineer working for Mercedes, and so forth. So that's what I would say. Get involved with the Blair Project, with the online STEM clubs. It doesn't matter where you live, and that's what I would say to a Marilyn starting out now.
You know who made it.
For the audience listening, where can they find you if they want to find out more about you or Mia? How do we go about it?
Well, I mean, the easiest way is to find me on LinkedIn, Marilyn Comrie, or go on the miacenter.com website, and you can find out more about me and how to contact me.
Excellent. Well, Marilyn, thank you very much again for being on our episode. We hope you at home really enjoyed it. Make sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, and share this with people within your network. We'd really appreciate it. So yeah, thanks very much, Marilyn, and take care.
All right. Take care, everybody.